I don't take back anything we've ever tweeted from the account.
What's up, guys? Happy Thursday. I am back after a much needed break from Chicago Music Nexus and Thanksgiving. I will talk about that in a different episode. Today, I want to focus on my guest that I am so excited about. This is a really special full circle moment for me once again. Now, when I was interviewing artists back at ARC in August, September, I kept hearing the same thing from artists and management teams. They all said, this doesn't feel like other festivals. And they were right. From the lineup to the production to the spicy social media presence, ARC has managed to create something special in just a few years. But what most people don't know is that this massive operation, this festival that's repositioning Chicago as the house music capital it deserves to be, is run by an incredibly small but mighty team. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most interesting roles in dance music, the person behind ARC's viral Twitter presence. If you've been anywhere near EDM Twitter, you've seen his takes. The account that boldly declares house and techno does not equal EDM sparked debates about festival proposals being cringe and had Green Velvet himself weighing in on the Chicago house music discourse. That's who's on my show today. I am thrilled to reveal the mastermind behind it all, Alan Brandt, ARC's marketing lead and the internet's favorite festival admin. In this episode, you'll learn how a small team builds a festival brand with a cult following, why being polarizing on social media can actually be a smart strategy, and what it really takes to break into festival marketing. Plus, Alan shares some incredible stories about the early days of ARC and how they're working to preserve Chicago's house music legacy. All right, wow, I am thrilled to have the person who's been fighting for Chicago house music's honor and the person single-handedly responsible for a lot of the beef on EDM Twitter, Alan Brandt, marketing lead for ARC Music Festival. Welcome.
Pleasure is all mine with you.
It's actually
good to see you again.
It is so good to see you. The last time I saw you in the flesh was at ARC, and a lot has happened since then. We're going to get into it. You have a really coveted position in the house and techno world, so I want to know what might surprise listeners about your job if they listen to this conversation.
Honestly, it's probably how small the team is. And a pure ideation to execution standpoint, it's probably me, our creative director, our paid social manager. Obviously, the founders are we meet every week. We talk about the direction of the festival and everything. And our talented design team is obviously part of that. But in terms of day-to-day operations, it's very, very bare bones.
Yeah, I was surprised when I started working with you guys. I was like, okay, wow, this little team is putting on this big of a powerhouse of a festival. And it's amazing. Kudos to you guys. So before we talk about ARC, let's talk about you. How did you get to this point in being the marketing lead for such a powerhouse brand?
Sure. Back to college, I'm working at a music venue in Columbia, Missouri. Was interning there. I kind of faked it till I made it in the sense that they weren't doing any paid social. And I knew they should, but I also did not know how to do it at that time. So I was basically just staying one day ahead of their questions and doing that during the day. Just managing modest $500, $1,000 budgets. But in college, that experience is super valuable.
Yeah.
And then at night, I would just basically do whatever I could in the venue. Because I'm at this point, in college, I'm all right, I don't really know what I want to do after school. I just want to try a bunch of stuff and hopefully find my tribe and then go from there. So I was doing box office, coat check. I was a runner. I was bar backing, load in, load out, anything I could do in the venue. I just wanted to see is this something I could be interested in? So I worked there in college. The owner, during my time, longtime owner, sold it to another group, and then I got connected to Chicago via them, and then now I'm at ARC.
Wow. Yeah. And you're from here?
North suburbs, yeah.
Libertyville? Mm-hmm. I know Libertyville. Mickey Finn's, right?
Yeah, Mickey Finn's.
Oh God, what a
O'Toole's.
legendary, yeah, O'Toole's, yeah.
Birkin.
Definitely gotten kicked out of that bar, I think, in my college days.
Yeah, Libertyville is definitely the town in the burbs where all of the other burbs go to party. So.
Yeah, because it's the only place with like a little downtown area. Yeah, well, that's I love that you said that you tried everything, because that's how you get really good at doing like your big job, is because you know how everything works. So you have a respect for the whole operation.
Yeah, and even before I was like full time doing like festival marketing, like I'd be running, being promoter reps at shows and stuff. So I'm being like I'm like 24 out of school, going into damn near every room in Chicago and like meeting a lot of the staff for the first time that night. And I'm like, all right, I need to like piece all these things together throughout the night. If anything goes wrong, I need to know who to go to. And yeah, for sure, working at the venue in college like really helped me with that.
Yeah. All right. So, ARC, I will never forget when I saw that elusive post come across my Facebook feed, and it was the original like word mark or the logo, and it was like House Techno Chicago, and everyone's like, what is this? What? Like nobody knew. I mean, unless you're in the know. Most people didn't know. So what do you remember about that time when you guys were getting ready for the launch? Because it had to just be a lot, especially coming out of COVID. It had to be a lot of excitement and mixed feelings.
Still kind of in COVID, to be honest, at that time, because it was spring 2021, right?
Yep.
So honestly, like hindsight's 2020, but like in the moment, I'm thinking like, all right, like I've been like out of practice for like a year and a half because COVID. This is a first time festival. Chicago's already a busy festival market. Coming out of a the global pandemic, like it's just a lot of variables you don't know. But when we got up to that announce, a lot of things in hindsight were really working for us. House and techno really started to pop off again in America, kind of 2019 really, and then 2020 kind of still kept it up, right? So that was like really good. And then also, we basically had like the entire festival audience to ourselves because no one was announcing shows, right? So it was kind of the best situation to announce a first time event because we had like the entire nation like attention right there. So we came out of the gates really strong. And that first year was like block party. It was great.
Yeah.
That's I have chills.
I know. That's how I described it in that article. I told you I was quoted. It felt like a block party with all your closest friends, and it was just like I don't know. I was on cloud nine.
West Fest on steroids. Like it was just like that vibe, like Carver Street Fest vibes for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And it's beautiful to see the growth. But you look back at those old times with fondness. You're like, oh my God, like there was no lines. Like there was a lot of people there, but there's a big difference.
It was only 2 days the first year.
Yep.
There was like 20 fewer after parties.
Yeah, right. That's true. Oh my God, wow. Yeah, now I couldn't make it to after parties then, and I still can't. I try.
There's plenty of them.
I know. Yeah, we have no shortage.
There's a day party on Monday now, so.
Yeah, I know. That's amazing. I mean, I love to see how it's expanding now. You guys are taking over that whole week, which is awesome because people are coming into town for it anyway.
Yeah.
So the brand identity was so strong straight out the gate, with the way that you presented visually and the voice that you had, behind the brand, which we'll get into that a little bit more in a little bit. But talk to me about just the philosophy when you guys were sitting down, coming up with the concept for this. What did you know you had to get across to separate and differentiate yourself from the competition? Sure.
So, I mean, House Techno Chicago is the fast way to say this, right? So it's about, house music first and foremost. There's techno mixed in there, obviously, and then Chicago, right? The longer version of that essentially is we want to, reposition Chicago as this like very important, if not the most important city for dance music across the world, and just reposition that from not just a national perspective, but an international perspective. But also kind of showcasing, the past, present, future of not just house music. Obviously, we're in Chicago, and that's going to be like the first part of the conversation. But all, techno breaks, juke, like across the board. So it's really just trying to showcase like the best stuff that's happening in the scene right now.
Yeah, and from the beginning, you guys have been working with all of the local legends that are still playing today, not just as as artists on the lineup, but you've really made them brand ambassadors. There's been, different videos that I've seen on Instagram, just integrating them, which is so important because, it really hasn't been done on this scale before in Chicago. Just honoring the history and, putting your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, there's a lot of education that we've been finding that we needed to do. In the beginning, we didn't think it was as necessary because, we're all house heads, right? So we're duh. It's from Chicago.
But there's a lot of young people who don't know.
You would be surprised, the Twitter mentions I get are houses from, Manchester or Detroit or New York City, New York's a great house city. It's just not from there originally, right? So yeah, a lot of the educational aspect. I don't know how we got in education though.
Yeah, no, just from the jump, you guys have been that's been integral to the brand.
Yeah.
And there's so much rich history. It's
we were talking about Mike Dunn helping with some voiceover work. We work with DJ Heather. We really want to just naturally incorporate all those OGs and those legends into everything. I hate it when even from a lineup perspective, I hate it when some lineup is here are all of our female acts, or here's all of our BIPOC acts or whatever. We just want to book them, right?
Yeah.
So
my God.
It's super cringy.
I love that you brought that up because when you know about Nexus, and I talk about it in every episode, some people brought that up to us. Well, are you going to have a panel on this and that? And I said, no, I'm just going to make sure our panel lineups are extremely diverse so that the voices are naturally represented. Yeah. It's a different way of doing things, but it's the non-performative way.
Yeah, it doesn't sell tickets to be we have 20% of our lineup is female or something, right?
Right.
It's just do it. Yeah.
And don't call it out because again, it is very performative. So yeah. So the brand identity has grown even stronger. Its strength is increasing over the years, and your boldness has increased over the years. Let's talk about it because this is the admin behind Twitter, guys. That's a big.
You gonna mute my voice or do that voice modulation thing?
Yeah, and put a shadow. Yeah. Because okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, if you don't follow Arc Music Festival, aka Alan, I wrote down some of my favorite tweets just from recently because there's too many good ones. So
this will be fun.
Yep. First one, imagine you're waiting for a hollow set and a dildo was blocking your view. No totems at Arc. I love that one.
Yeah.
Happy Kashmir Pulaski Day with a picture of Green Velvet, aka Kashmir.
Right. That's inside baseball Chicago.
It is very inside baseball Chicago. Yeah. And the only thing more cringe than proposing at a music festival is getting married at one.
That one was surprisingly controversial.
Was that from Burning Man?
Just in general.
Because I think someone just got married at Burning Man, and so it was a topic of conversation. All sorts of
festivals.
All right. Well, now that we've revealed, the man behind the Twitter, what do you have to say to the people of Twitter?
What's that Don Draper line? Oh, I don't think about you at all, right? Come on. It's if you're fighting with a festival account, it's odds are you're probably muted.
Yeah, they love it though.
We've fostered a fun little burner community with those accounts. But I'm not I can't if people are properly hating, I don't care. Take that somewhere else. It is what it is.
Well, what I love is that you guys are standing 10 toes down on this is our brand.
Yeah.
And if you don't get it, that's okay because we sell enough tickets anyway.
We've had a founder make a Twitter just to keep tabs on what was going on, just to make sure. Because I'm all about towing the line, right? I don't take back anything we've ever tweeted from the account.
As you shouldn't. No.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's always been spot on, either sometimes a little controversial, let's say, potentially, but it's all like we were always right. So it's like we stand true. Like you can challenge me on it.
I know. I won't. Yeah. I'm Art's biggest fan. Come on. Yeah. What I love is that you really stirred the pot with EDM Twitter, because you made that tweet that said house and techno does not equal EDM, correct, which is so important. And I love that you Green Velvet has joined the conversation on that. You Salute joined the conversation on that. So you've got the backing from the people that matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
Like, it is, but explain to people who maybe don't understand.
Okay, so the initial idea is like, I know as soon as I tweet that, like people are going to be like, well, actually, it's electronic dance music. So excuse me, sweetie. So that's the first. Like, I'm gonna get like a little bit of a boost just from like people being like, "Oh, got him!" Like,
yeah.
But like there's a historical context here, right? Like, house and techno were like names that came from the dance floor, right? And EDM was 2005 in some boardroom where they were like, electronica's not working. Like the Moby and Prodigy trying to make electronic music pop in the U.S. Like, it's not really working. And then I think we could pretty much point to like 2006 Coachella Daft Punk. Like, that performance was like the birth of EDM. Sure. Or as like Deadmau5 puts it, event-driven marketing. Yeah. Right? So like
he's another sassy one.
There's a lot of influence from there, from the Spring Awakening days for me on how I communicate on Twitter, for sure.
Oh yeah. Wow. Oh my God, I didn't even put two and two together. That's very.
Shout out Spring Awakening. Shout out Maybe on the Beach. R.I.P.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wow, what a time. Yeah. Chicago's seen some shit.
But, I mean, back to, like, the EDM versus house and techno, like, at worst, it's, like, borderline racist to, like, even, like, say, like, EDM is, or house music and techno or EDM, because, that's not, they were just around before, and it's ignoring the foundations of those genres.
Yeah, no, that's very valid, and I hate when, like, the EDM Twitter people, like, oh, it's not plur, that's not whatever. Like, it's like, no, there is a difference, and it's okay to call things what they are.
Yeah.
So I love that, again, you guys stand 10 toes down on that.
Yeah, and that goes back to the educational stuff. Like, if we can create a controversial moment and make that a learning moment, and like 5 people are like, oh, I didn't think about it like that. Like, that's a win. Like,
for
that's a win for us.
You have to create controversy to get people's attention nowadays.
I mean, it's just social media is a very toxic place. So we try not to like feed into that too much, but it is like if we can start from let's say, for lack of a better term, a negative spot and end up in like a learning moment, like that's fine for us.
Well, that's why you use humor, though, too, because you do it like, it's not like you're just like,
you know the internet, though. Sometimes I think something I think is funny, someone will be like, wow, I can't believe they said that.
People are soft. I mean, it really
not in Chicago, though.
Yeah, not in Chicago. Yeah, because all the people who argue with you are never from Chicago. No. It's always from Yeah, I know. I experienced that too. I definitely, like, with my TikTok audience, like people will catch on to it, that I kind of rage bait a little bit. Like, I had this whole thing recently where I stood on the platform of potlucks are disgusting and I won't go to them. Okay. And people were like, you're classist, you're I'm like, and I just let it go, because I got paid $700 from the Creator Fund for starting that little controversy.
Look at that.
And I don't think it's a classist take. I just think you can't eat from everyone's kitchen. And if I don't know how you live, I don't want to eat your food. So
I'm gonna stay out of this one.
Okay, yeah. Don't get. We can't get.
This is too hot for me.
It's way too controversial. So no, I mean, you really do, like, that is something that, like, the artists who listen to this show, they're always afraid to say something that could get them, banned or like whatever. Which I get. Like, you have to kind of earn the right. To be able to use the internet in that way.
There are for sure a lot of artists that probably should not tweet as much as they do. I won't name names here, but I see you.
That.
But
you're taking notes. No, and he's not on the lineup next year. Yeah. No.
Not like that. I'm not the booker. Don't worry.
He's not the booker. No. Yeah. No. I mean, I think there's definitely there's an art to it, but people do get gun shy because they'll say something that's on their mind, and then people will because it's always the people who don't have anything to lose who I feel like will try to drag you to the pits of hell of social.
Yeah,
so you can't get in the mud with people.
You see that coming a mile away though. If someone's super argumentative, it's like a habit. Like they're getting muted. I don't see it. They're screaming into the void.
Right.
If it's like real bad, which doesn't really happen that often, you'll just get the block. But
no, it's all in good fun. Or you get the block sometimes.
Yeah.
You're like, that's always fun.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's okay. It's happened to me too. I think there's a couple artists who have blocked me, but that's a story for another time. What is cool is we're starting to see a lot of faceless brands. Like I always think of the Duolingo Owl
Wendy's
or Wendy's.
The OG.
They are the OG.
Yeah, back in the day, 2012 or whatever.
Yep, and they take on this personification. But I really love that brands are starting to take it a step further and be not divisive, but just you taking a stand on something.
Yeah, we're fans and we want that to come off in our voice. Twitter's an exceptionally conversational, if not the most conversational social medium. It's very attuned. I was thinking about this recently, why am I abnormally good at this platform? I'm fine at Instagram, but I'm for sure the best at Twitter, and for my personal sake, right? So, and I just think back to high school where I was a bit of a class clown and teacher would say something, I would say something adding on to that. And I was just thinking, I'm that's a quote tweet. So before Twitter, I was training myself already for this. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're fans and all of our opinions, I'm not tweeting as me, I'm tweeting as a festival, right? So it all comes from a place of Chicago and ARC.
Yep.
And it just reinforces all of our kind of our beliefs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it's good because it makes me as a fan want to and I say this to artists all the time too about their branding. If you show me a side of you that, and then it's something that I really like outside of music, I'm going to want to attach on to you more. So I just feel that's, it seems anti-corporate, anti-establishment. It's literally you, like you said before, this sitting back with your glass of wine, listening to Moody Man tweeting, and it's you're in it, you can tell because of how you engage that you truly love this music.
I couldn't have half the takes if I didn't genuinely love this music.
Exactly.
Right?
It can't be fake. What you're saying and the jokes are so there's
no boardroom of 7 copywriters. They're all right, how do we
make this funny? Yeah. Or clearly chat GBT copy where it's I mean, I'll admit now I use a different AI tool, but I use AI sometimes as a starting point, but you can tell the copy it generates is such ass, and you can tell when brands are,
No one should use it straight up, but I use it all the time just as a starting point. I'm big at get the clay down and take pieces off and try to figure out what the sculpture looks like, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, now with the amount of content that we need to put out as creators, you have to have those tools.
Yeah. Shout out all the design team. Could not do it without you.
Yeah, it is. ARC really does. You know what's funny? I forgot to tell Garrett this the other day. Or I don't know who designed the sweatshirts from the Juggernaut ones.
Oh, those are I think Eric or Garrett. I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
Those are 3 years ago though.
I was walking, because I wear it almost every morning to walk my dogs because it's so
for sure,
cozy.
Eric.
Yeah.
Artist, DJ artist.
Okay, shout out to him. I'm walking my dog, and this, I ignore people if they're driving and trying to talk to me, because it's just I don't know what you want, I don't want to answer, but this guy goes, hey, and I finally stop, and he goes, that's a cool sweatshirt, where'd you get it? And I was like, oh my God, it's so funny. So it really, just everything, it's what you're doing is you're building a community that people want to be a part of. They want to be on the inside.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy feat. It's a lot easier to just throw a bunch of money at something and be here, ads, boom, come, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, what's interesting is the festival is 3 days, but the socials are, 365, right? So obviously we want to have boots on the ground sort of moments, the Daily Plazas and we want to do some more community events and some talks and things like this. But building that online community for people that aren't in Chicago is super important to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you stay engaged with them all year.
Yeah, there's like inside jokes with like, that's how I know the brand is strong, when it's like people are tagging me in things that we had previously talked about.
Yeah.
So, it's great. And I'm just like, cool. Like we have this small little online community. They all come to Chicago once a year. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So. It's really cool. It's a really special thing to be a part of. So for people who want to get into the business, festival marketing, those opportunities are limited. How would you recommend they go about getting to be in the music business in this way?
There's no like secret. I'm not even probably the best person to ask. It's like outside of like the very first opportunity, which was in college, every other opportunity since then has been because of somebody that I met at the previous kind of stop, right? So it goes back to what I was saying before. Just if you want to get into music, work at any venue. It doesn't really matter what the venue is. Hopefully you find someone who like I did, who was like very passionate about the music first and foremost, and then understood that like, okay, now I need to like be a businessman, right? Mm-hmm. And there are, for every one of those, there's someone who just cares about dollars and cents, right? So there'll be a little trial and error. Hopefully you get like some sort of mentor or something that'll like properly guide you through some of this, even just for advice. And just keep your head down. It's tough out here sometimes.
It is. I really appreciate you giving me the honor of doing the official admin reveal. This is huge.
This is the official admin reveal.
It is an honor, truly, and I'm glad. Like I have had the pleasure of working with you for, almost a year.
Yeah,
almost.
It feels longer, like in a good way.
It does,
right?
Yeah. We've worked together on a lot of like pre-ARC content, and obviously being at ARC, and like it's just. I've just been blown away by what you and your small team can do. And so thank you for sharing your wisdom.
Thank you.
I have to say, getting to officially reveal the face behind ARC's Twitter presence has been a highlight of my podcasting journey. And not just because Alan and ARC's tweets make me laugh out loud on a regular basis, but because this conversation really shows what's possible when you build a brand around authenticity and a genuine love for the culture. Those two things will take you so far. And what I respect most about Alan and the whole ARC team is how they've managed to create something that honors Chicago's house music legacy while simultaneously pushing the scene forward. That's hard to do. They're not just throwing a festival, they're creating community, they're preserving history. And they're occasionally starting some much needed conversations about totems blocking your view. I hate totems, by the way, if I have never said that before. If you're trying to break into festival marketing, take Alan's advice. Start at any venue, keep your head down, find a mentor who cares about music first and business second, and maybe keep a glass of wine and some Moody Man on standby. Big thanks to Alan for trusting me with this reveal, and to the entire ARC team for showing us that you don't need a massive operation to make a massive impact. You just need vision, dedication, and some spicy tweets. Follow Alan and ARC Music Festival on Twitter for more hot takes and house music history lessons. And remember, if you're thinking about proposing at ARC, maybe don't. I'll talk to you guys next week. Stay elevated.